Good morning. I'm Christy with Christy Lynn Outside. I just got off work and I just wanted to give you a little introduction to my garden. I am in Central Louisiana, Zone 9A, and it's been a really, sorry, my dog is chasing the neighbor's cat. I'm in Zone 9A, Central Louisiana. Oh my, y'all. Y'all. The summer has been really hot and brutal, and there is really not a lot to show right now, but we are getting ready to plant and have planted a lot for the fall. So let's get started. So I have a small backyard garden that I'm pretty proud of this year. It really is starting to grow into a beautiful setting. I have 7 4x4 beds. These are the original beds that I started with. And then I added 2 4x8 beds, some stackable planters, and 4 2x4 beds in the back. We have a very messy blackberry patch that I planted 2 years ago. So this is the back of the garden. Butts up next to the neighbor's fence. This is about the west side of the garden where their least amount of sun hits in the evening. But it hasn't stopped my poor eggplants from just succumbing completely to the heat. I have Jing orange okra here planted and Matoyo eggplant in this 2x4 garden. Also have some cowpeas that are climbing the okra. I don't know if you can see them. There's a couple. In the next bed here, I have some serrano peppers that I think got root rot in the last run of storms that we had. We had rain for like 10 days straight. They seem to be perking up a little bit right here, but they're just wilted, curled up and wilted. I do have some aphids here on some beans I have planted. Oh, I don't know if you can see him, a little cute lizard, little baby lizard. Hey buddy, there he is. In this garden we have the serrano peppers. I have a couple marigolds that I transplanted from a larger plant, and some basil and some Christmas pole lima beans that are climbing up this new arch trellis that I put up this season. On the other side of the arch trellis is the beginning of our blackberry patch that is, I think, about 10 bushes long. There's Bubba. Hey Bubba. The blackberries were planted about 2 years ago, and they are a mess right now. This is a 3-year-old fig tree, and Sissy sniffing around. Sissy, What you doing, girl? Hey. Oh, yes. Hey. My fig hasn't really developed any fruit yet. We got a couple fruits set this year, but I don't think that they're going to ripen. I don't even know where exactly they are right now. I think they're on the other side, unless they dropped already. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some fruit from my figs, but it's taken them a little while to get used to being in this pot. My third 2x4 bed, I have some more Christmas pole limas that are just kind of hanging out right now. I'm gonna set up a second arch right here in the next week or so. Some more marigolds, some more basil, and some jalapeno peppers that are also pitiful. These are doing a lot better, but these not so much. This August heat is just making everything suffer. More eggplants that are yellowing. Oh, that's my pepper. What is this? No, this was I can't remember the name of it. This is another pepper, a hot pepper, Anaheim. It's a little yellow. I fertilized it last week, but I guess it's getting some green growth back on here. But more eggplants, Matoyo eggplants. Not doing so great. Sorry, y'all. Gypsy got out of the yard. This is my third dog, Gypsy, being rambunctious. So the fourth 2x4 has the Anaheim pepper, eggplants, and Alabama red okra that is super tall. Also with cowpeas climbing them. This is a pretty good idea, I thought, to interplant. Get some cowpeas. Speaking of cowpeas, ton of cowpeas climbing these trellises that I had cherry tomatoes on earlier in the season, along with asparagus. So the cowpeas are planted along the edges and the ends of this 4x8 bed that's filled with asparagus, 2-year-old crowns that I planted this past spring, and they're doing amazing. Hopefully next year or the year after I'll be able to harvest some fresh asparagus. I'm so excited. My next 4x8 bed is pretty sparse. I just took out a bunch of tomatoes. I had several tomatoes in here that I just took out, and I pruned a huge marigold and just left some of the branches that had rooted. I did plant some seeds yesterday for cabbage. Not sure if they're gonna germinate or not because they were kind of old, but I planted 4 cabbage in the middle here, and I have other plans for later on in the season. But there is a Thai basil, a big Thai basil that I just pruned down a little bit, some parsley, and there's a zucchini plant that I'm trying to baby. Another zucchini plant in the corner there, along with some sweet alyssum. And I have two Seminole pumpkin plants nestled in here with the sweet alyssum and lavender. Seems to be hiding it from the vine borers. crossing my fingers because I have a horrible time with vine borers here. Case in point, this butternut squash that I have in this other corner that is supposed to be resistant to vine borers, but already has vine borer damage all along this stem. I'm contemplating just cutting this stem completely, since we do have a couple runners that look pretty healthy. In these beds, I have some determinate tomatoes. These are extra determinate tomatoes that I had, and some arugula and some cucumbers that I just planted, along with some more marigolds. These marigolds were humongous. They're very tall, but they were spilling all out into the walkway, and they were choking out my oregano and my rosemary and my thyme. So I pruned those out about a week ago, but I left the ones that are upright because they are actually shading these poor pitiful pepper plants that I'm hoping will revive. It looks like I've got a couple green leaves popping up and some, oh look, I've got a baby pepper and some blooms, so maybe they'll revive themselves for the fall. Hopefully. They did really well during the spring, and these marigolds shaded them really well. Over here, I just pulled out a lot of tomato plants that didn't do anything for me this spring. Just a bunch of green, maybe 2 or 3 tomatoes. I have a little lavender there in the middle, a big basil plant, and these are 2 big, I believe they're red Reuben basil. I did plant some seeds for, I think, celery and kale. Delaine celery and dazzling blue kale in the center here. So hopefully some of that will germinate. We'll see. This bed has been giving me problems this year. I planted several green beans in here, several rounds of green beans that just really didn't do well. This whole bed I planted in green beans, and the only green beans that sprouted were right here on the edge. There's a marigold that spilled over from the other bed, and a marigold that I tried to propagate that didn't really take. So I amended it with some compost, and I'm gonna be planting something else here pretty soon, I think. Maybe some lettuce, but we kind of have to wait for the heat to subside before I try any lettuce. I don't know, I might try some. I do have one lone zinnia. Look how pretty. I'm trying to learn how to intercrop and companion plant. This is one of my best performing beds with companion planting and intercropping. This is my Clemson spineless okra and shishito peppers. Constantly getting peppers on these plants. And some over here, some Grand Marconi peppers. Along the edges here,
Y'all behave. They're getting a little restless. Along the edges here and on up some of my okra plants, I have some blue butterfly pea vines that are starting to bloom. I'm so happy about that. My daughter really wants to try the blue butterfly tea, so maybe we'll be able to get enough blooms for that. It's a little Thai basil that I propagated from the larger one on the other garden. Over here is another completely blank bed other than the Thai basil and sweet basil and little marigold. But eventually I'm gonna have some collards in the middle and some beets along the edges. And when it cools off, some mustard. This garden here, I have this trellis and these poles to try to keep Gypsy out of it because I caught her tearing one of my tomato plants out. I had to replace this one because she jumped in the bed and ripped it right out. But I have 3 different kinds of new tomatoes that I've never grown before. They're all determinants. This is Purple Rain. This is Martino's Roma. And that right there is Principe Borghese. Right here. Also marigolds and basil and one little lonely borage that survived from the spring that never really did anything. I don't know if she's gonna do anything or not. Also in here, in between, I have some seeds planted. They haven't germinated yet for some burgundy green beans and some Swiss chard. I think, oh, look, I got a couple little Swiss chard popping up right here. Yay! Oh yes. Swiss chard starting to pop up. That's exciting. I've not done Swiss chard yet. And a little Greek oregano on the edge here. The goal is to have the oregano spilling over the edge. That's my raised bed gardens, and then I have a few things in containers here. This is Goldilocks acorn squash with a couple marigolds that I tried to propagate. These marigolds not doing so well, but that's okay. A couple of them survived, it looks like, with some, what is this, orangetti spaghetti squash, and 2 baby figs from cuttings from my older fig on the other side of the yard, one here and one over there. They actually do have some figs, but like I said earlier, I'm not sure if they're going to, there's some right there. I'm not sure if they're gonna actually ripen or not. A few of them have already fallen off. And right here is an ornamental. It's what they call a banana shrub. It's a type of magnolia, but the blooms, let me see if I can find one. Well, this one's it's about to open. The blooms are absolutely beautiful, little miniature magnolia looking blooms, but they smell just like banana pudding. This plant my daughter bought me Y'all calm down. Calm down. Oh. Dogs are chasing each other. Just don't jump in my gardens, please. This plant my daughter bought for me because it's a memory that I have from my grandmother's house. She used to have one of these, big, huge one in her yard. And I just remember the smell of banana pudding when we would go outside. So, nostalgia. That's all this is for. But I love it. Okay, the last thing I have are these stackable planters. Not quite a green stalk, but not bad. Some lemongrass that I planted from seed, and a couple other extra lemongrass that I had that survived. A basil, and echinacea that I've had such a hard time getting to sprout from seed. But I have 2 little baby echinacea plants in here, and 1 lone cosmos that is spilling over into my alyssum. Maybe she'll bloom? I don't know. And the next one here, I have some lilies that are, I think the lilies are in here, they just died off. Some basil, more basil. I had a ton of basil that I had propagated, and some random little peppers. I don't even remember which peppers these are. I think these are serranos. And then 1 extra eggplant that I couldn't bear to get rid of that is blooming, so maybe I'll get some fruit from it. All these extra pockets here I'm gonna fill with some flowers, hopefully for the fall. And that's it. That's my garden.